I was in such a good mood. Mom had promised to pick me up since she was free in the afternoon. The second I saw her from across the parking lot, I waved like I was flagging down a lifeboat. But she didn't even look my way. Instead, her eyes were laser focused, practically shooting daggers at Lorelai. And some bougie older lady? Lorelai was the new girl in our class. Super pretty with that delicate, soft vibe that made guys swoon. Layla, long time no see. You've been a country bumpkin since high school, huh? Before I could process what was happening, the fancy woman turned her gaze to me, her expression switching to straight-up contempt. Your daughter's got the same basic energy as you. Not like my Lorelai. She's been doll perfect since day one. With that, she strutted off, dragging Lorelai along. It was just me and my mom now. After stomping her foot in frustration, glaring at their retreating figures, she turned to me. I swear her eyes scanned me from head to toe with the kind of look that screamed, "Why do you even exist?" Hi, I'm Esther, 16 years old, currently navigating the social jungle that is Peyton College Preparatory High School in Chicago. If I had to sum myself up, I'd say I'm pretty mid. Not exactly one of those queen bees, but definitely not invisible either. In fact, I've got a decent face, a friendly personality, and enough friends to fill a lunch table. It's just me and mom at home. Being a single parent has made her kind of edgy and sharp-tongued, but deep down, I know it's all love. Or so I thought, until today. After running into Lorelai and her mom, something in mom snapped. She was mad as a hornet, muttering under her breath through clenched teeth. Damn Layla, she's probably plotting again using that innocent angel face to snatch something from someone else. The next day, mom came home with bags full of stuff. Yoga mats, some weird lip plumping contraption, Dior lipstick, Marc Jacobs eyeshadow, you name it. She declared that she was going to turn me into a goddess. Remember that woman from yesterday? You mean Lorelai's mom? That's Layla, my old classmate. She stole everything from me back in the day. And now, she and her brat are out to snatch something from us again. She dove into her backstory like it was a Netflix drama. Turns out Mom and Layla were rivals, competing for everything from student council president to the hottest guy in school. Layla, with her beauty and cunning, always came out on top. She's still living her best life looking flawless while I'm old and washed up. I can't take it. I sighed and grabbed her hand, feeling like I needed to do something. And so my makeover journey began. Spoiler alert, it was brutal. The online yoga routines Mom found was straight up torture. And then there was the mountain of makeup Mom bought me. Holy guacamole, which one's foundation and which one's setting powder? And why is applying eyeliner so freaking hard? Oh, and that lip plumping gadget? Disaster. The aftermath of those beauty sessions hit me immediately. On day one, I showed up to school with a body that felt completely off. My legs were bent awkwardly in an O shape, and every step I took made me look like a clumsy green frog. My classmates couldn't stop laughing. By day two, my face was a mess. Swollen lips, makeup smeared like I'd lost a fight with a clown. OMG, Esther, what's with the circus act? Don't hang out with her, she's bringing down our vibe. It wasn't long before my so-called friends scattered like I had the plague. I sighed, realizing I'd officially become the school joke. Alone, I trudged across the schoolyard, feeling the weight of loneliness settle in. Everywhere I went, people would quickly steer clear like I was some kind of walking contagion. Then, out of nowhere, a hand reached out to me. Here, you might need this. I looked up and there she was, Lorelai, standing like some kind of porcelain goddess. She was ridiculously pretty up close, like the kind of girl Instagram filters dream of. Despite her looks, she didn't exactly have a fan club. Sure, the guys were into her, but the girls? Not so much. Mom always warned me about Lorelai and her mom, claiming they were nothing but trouble. I noticed you've been struggling with makeup and yoga. I'm actually pretty good at that stuff. Want some help? Why would you want to help me? Maybe we can help our moms work things out. I wasn't convinced. But over time, Lorelai's soft-spoken nature and genuine kindness started to break down my walls. Beneath her flawless exterior was someone sweet and unexpectedly down-to-earth. Lorelai became my lifeline in the chaotic world of beauty routines and intense yoga. She introduced me to the right makeup products and taught me how to use them properly. She coached me through yoga poses until they felt natural and even guided me toward healthier eating habits. Wow, Lorelai, you know so much! You're amazing! My mom's always believed that beauty is the key to everything. If you're ugly, you're doomed. So she had me practicing makeup and self-care since I was little. But because of my looks, I've never really had friends. Hey, don't be so down. Your mom's happy and successful, right? I'm sure she just wants you to achieve the same things she did. Not exactly. Her beauty is just a mask to hide a string of failed marriages. She's been through 3 divorces because of her cheating husbands. I was stunned. For the first time, it hit me. Being beautiful doesn't guarantee happiness, no matter what Mom or Miss Layla believed. Thanks to Lorelai, my appearance transformed dramatically in the best way possible. My body grew stronger and leaner, my hair was always soft and fragrant, and my skin became smooth and radiant. For the first time, I felt truly confident. "You look stunning." "It's all thanks to look." Before I could finish, Mom cut me off. "You're even more beautiful than Layla's daughter. I'm so proud of you." My heart sank. Lorelai had become my closest friend, but I couldn't even mention her name around Mom. At the start of May, our school announced the Peyton College beauty pageant. Mom didn't waste a second dragging me to sign up, even though I wasn't exactly thrilled about it. When we arrived, we bumped into Lorelai and her mom. Mom immediately puffed out her chest, boasting about how much I'd blossomed. Not to be outdone, Miss Layla pushed Lorelai forward, drawing gasps of admiration from the crowd for her doll-like beauty. "Let's see whose daughter is truly the most beautiful. Obviously, my daughter will win." They parted ways with a mutual air of hostility, leaving Lorelai and me standing awkwardly. We exchanged a weary look, both silently wondering how we'd ever untangle our mom's years of bad blood. The school's beauty pageant was intense. Luckily, I'd gone through a major transformation. Thanks to my workout sessions with Lorelai, my body had become toned, strong, and well-balanced. With proper skincare and makeup skills, my face now had a refined, elegant beauty. Still standing among a sea of glorious slay girls, I couldn't help but feel nervous. Who cut my dress? Suddenly, chaos erupted as several contestants discovered their outfits were damaged. I stepped forward, ready to help. After all, they were my classmates. "Don't just stand there, focus on preparing for the finals." Reluctantly, I followed her. That's when I noticed something sticking out of her bag, a pair of scissors. In the days leading up to the pageant, girls kept losing jewelry, makeup, or finding their outfits mysteriously ruined. Oddly enough, these incidents always seemed to happen near Mom or Miss Layla. Lorelai must have noticed too, but their friendly, innocent attitudes kept suspicion at bay. Only we knew something was off. One by one, contestants dropped out, leaving just 5 of us in the semifinals. Lorelai and I stood out as the clear frontrunners. We had a 30-minute break before the final round. I tried to calm my nerves with deep breaths when Mom appeared beaming. "I've got a surprise for you, my princess!" "That's awesome, but isn't it a bit early for gifts?" "This will help you win." She held out a syringe filled with some suspicious-looking liquid. "The serum will transform your looks completely." Before I could react, she moved closer, aiming the needle at my chest. Panic surged through me as I realized what she was about to do. Instinctively, I shoved her away. The syringe slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. "Oh no, that was the only beauty serum I had! What have you done?" "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to. It just looked so weird. I was scared it'd mess me up rather than help." "Ugh, do you know how hard I worked to ensure your victory? Your butterfingers ruined everything. Now if we hurry back to the spa and grab no, 2 syringes. No, it's too late." I stood next to Mom, feeling lost and small. It was like I didn't even exist. All she cared about now was crushing Miss Layla and winning the pageant. I'm confident in how I look now. I'll do my best to win on my own. Mom didn't let me finish. "We'll find another way. You must win this competition." She grabbed 4 balloons and started stuffing them under my dress, inflating my chest and hips to give me a bombshell look. I could barely breathe, feeling suffocated, not just by the balloons, but by her controlling actions. Out on stage, I struggled to walk with my new figure. Then I saw Lorelai and my eyes widened. She looked just like me, same exaggerated curves. It didn't take a genius to figure out her mom had pulled the same stunt.
And now, the top 2 finalists, Esther and Lorelai. Look at these two, absolutely stunning and show-stopping. No one could deny it. There were no 2 people more deserving of the title.
Lorelai and I stepped forward to a roar of applause, but inside I felt nothing but anger and sadness.
Our finalists will now answer one question to determine who truly deserves the crown. The question is, what does true beauty mean to you?
My turn came first. I looked down and saw Mom sparring with Miss Layla. Then she shot me a look, her eyes burning with the need to win. If you were me, what would you say in this moment? As for me, I already knew my answer. I took a deep breath and spoke with conviction, the words Lorelai and I had been dying to tell our moms. I used to think beauty brought happiness, but now I know. When you're happy, you'll always be the most beautiful version of yourself. The crowd fell silent. Then in one swift motion, I wiped all the makeup off my face, ignoring Mom's shocked gasp. Next, I pulled out a hidden pin and popped the balloon strapped to me. Off went the heels, flung aside. Lorelai standing beside me did the exact same thing. The crowd erupted in gasps and murmurs. Mom and Miss Layla screamed in disbelief. But we didn't care. For the first time, I felt truly free. Standing there with my messy hair and bare face, my head held high. After the competition, it was no surprise we didn't win a thing. The organizers picked another girl from the top 5 as this year's queen, preferring someone less rebellious. Then came the aftermath, facing our furious moms. Normally, Lorelai and I would have stayed quiet and taken their scolding, but not today. "We're best friends! We're best friends!" They froze stunned. Then came the bans, the threats to keep us apart. "Stop using us to settle your old grudges. We've been miserable chasing after your beauty wars for too long. And guess what? We're staying friends whether you like it or not. Why don't you two talk it out? Clear the air. You're both amazing moms. You don't need to compete anymore." They looked at us, then at each other. With reluctant sighs, they finally shook hands. "I'm only doing this for my daughter. If your daughter ever harms my sweet Lorelai, you'll regret it." Lorelai and I exchanged smiles. Even though our moms weren't exactly besties yet, we could see the beginning of something better. And as for us, we knew our friendship was stronger than ever. I hiked up my dress and ran in panic. The chase created an uproar in the small Italian street in the middle of the night.
Catch her! Hurry!
Think, Ada, think! I reached the Rialto market, unsure whether to go left or right. My eyes spotted a crowd gathering around a street performer. I quickly blended into the sea of people. One of the henchmen ran past but didn't see me. My phone buzzed again, startling me. This time it was a message from Paul.
"Where are you? Are you mad at me and left early?"
I sighed in relief, lucky not to have been discovered. This time I narrowly escaped death. More than that, I felt disappointed in my friend Rafa. I returned to the hotel, slamming the door shut behind me. I pulled out my phone and called the chief. His authoritative voice answered on the second ring.
"Ada, I've been waiting for your update. How are things?"
I was chased by the henchmen of the guy Paul I was meeting. I managed to escape, but it was close.
"You did well, Ada."
I overheard their conversation about a mole in our force. They knew exactly where to find me and when.
This complicates things, Ada. Do you have any leads on who it might be?
I hesitated, thinking about Rafa's strange behavior when I needed help. I hate to say this, but I don't know yet. I'll try to find out.
Be careful, Ada. Call me if you need anything.
I hung up and collapsed onto the bed, my mind blank as if waking up from a long coma. Only Rafa knew I was dining with Paul there. As for Paul, despite the danger, I had to maintain my cover and relationship with him. One evening, Paul and I attended an extravagant party in a luxurious villa by Lake Como. The elite guests chatted merrily while sipping fine champagne. As we walked through the crowd, a tall man entered the room. The atmosphere turned tense immediately. The murmurs died down to silence. Even Paul, usually so composed, seemed wary of this man. Who is he?
That's Lorenzo. He's important. Stay close to me.
I nodded, filing away the information. Lorenzo was clearly a big shot in the criminal underworld. The party continued and I noticed a group, including Paul, being called into a private room with Lorenzo. The target was within reach. I couldn't miss this chance. I followed them from a considerable distance. As I was about to approach the door, a burly guard stepped in front of me, blocking my path.
This area's off limits.
I got lost. I looked at his face, almost screaming when I recognized him as the one who spotted me the night before. But he didn't seem to recognize me. So the man Paul had met in secret that night was Lorenzo.
Are you sure this is safe for the organization?
I found a secluded corner of the villa and activated a listening device, something I had planned to stick on the sole of Paul's shoe beforehand. Paul's muffled voice came through, discussing something with Lorenzo. I listened, too tense to breathe. But suddenly, the conversation stopped.
What is this? Who dared to plant a listening device? I know nothing about it, sir.
The signal was cut off. They had discovered it, but how? I quickly stashed my phone and returned to the party, trying to calm my racing thoughts. This was bad. Paul returned at the same time, and I tried to look as calm as possible when I saw his face struggling to hide his anger. He walked up to me, gripping my arm tightly.
We need to talk.
Before I could leave, Lorenzo and his henchmen filled the room. They were searching for the person who had planted the listening device on Paul's shoe, and the one holding the other part of the device is me. I had to find a way to escape, but the main door was guarded. Not even a fly could get through. At that moment, I noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Rafa dressed as a waiter carrying a tray of drinks. He was heading straight for Lorenzo and his men. Rafa made his move. He tripped, spilling the tray at Paul's feet, then clung to his leg.
I'm sorry,
Before Rafa could finish his sentence, he received a powerful kick from one of the henchmen.
I didn't mean anything, I swear! I dropped it and it accidentally got stuck in his shoe!
Despite his weak resistance, they dragged him away. I tried to follow, but Paul stopped me, looking at me with eyes that felt like 1,000 daggers stabbing my heart.
He needs to learn a lesson, but he'll be taken to the hospital.
That night, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't bear the thought of losing another friend. I had misunderstood Rafa. He had sacrificed himself just to protect me. I needed to end this as quickly as possible. The next morning, I went to Paul's office when he wasn't there. I began rummaging through his drawers and desk, searching for anything that could link him to the mafia. But I froze when I saw a file with Xavier's name on it. When I opened it, my breath caught in my throat. There were reports, photos, and detailed surveillance records of Xavier. Anger surged through me as I realized that Paul knew Xavier was an agent and might have been the one who harmed my friend. Footsteps approached and I quickly hid under the large desk. Paul moved around the room and stopped right in front of the desk. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, silence. My phone buzzed as Paul was tidying up the files right above me. Then he left the room. I pulled out my phone and saw a message from him.
Dinner tonight? Private rooftop restaurant overlooking the Amalfi Coast. Just the two of us.
I knew I had to keep a cool head. I quickly left the office, making sure no one saw me. I arrived at the rooftop restaurant, the spectacular view of the Amalfi Coast contrasting sharply with the chaos inside me. Paul was already there, looking relaxed and charming. He flashed a smile that could make any girl swoon. Paul pulled out a chair for me to sit down, but he didn't return to his seat immediately. He gently removed the necklace from my neck and placed it in a secure box, much to my surprise.
This isn't just jewelry. It's a tracking and listening device.
What do you mean?
Ada, I work for MI6, and I'm on a mission to expose this crime organization. I know everything about you, and you need to know you've been attacking the wrong person.
MI6? Wait.
I wasn't the last person to see Xavier. I was trying to help him. Lorenzo is indeed the head of the organization, but his most trusted subordinate is still hiding in the shadows.
I took a deep breath, trying to process everything. But how did you know about the necklace?
The phone signal always got static whenever I called you. But more than that, I believe the person we're looking for is someone you know well.
Who?
Who gave you the necklace?
My mind reeled. I was at a loss for words.
Rafa. He's been tracking you through the necklace. That's why they've always been one step ahead of you.
But he saved me at the party. He got beaten because of that.
That's how the organization keeps its members hidden in plain sight.
Suddenly, Paul stepped closer and placed a reassuring hand on my trembling shoulder.
I know this is all a shock, but tomorrow, when you visit the hospital, don't wear the necklace. If Rafa asks about it, you know what to do next.
Paul helped me stand and held me tightly until my shaking subsided. I knew I had to face this, no matter how harsh the truth was. The next day, I went to the hospital and found Rafa laying on the bed, his face still bruised in places.
Ada, how are you holding up?
Still haven't found anything new, but you should take care of yourself first. Enjoy playing the hero saving the damsel, huh?
I'm as strong as an ox. By the way, where's your necklace?
Even though I had prepared for this, my heart sank. I forgot to put it on this morning. Why do you care about it?
Just curious. That's all.
I moved closer, placing my hand on his cheek and looking straight into his eyes. Unable to hold back my tears, I ran to the bathroom and cried uncontrollably. In just a few seconds, I knew the years of friendship between us had completely crumbled. When I came out, Rafa was gone. He hadn't gone far with his unhealed wounds. I chased Rafa to an abandoned warehouse by the docks in Naples. I cautiously stepped inside, gripping my gun tightly. Rafa, come out! We need to talk! From behind a stack of wooden crates, Rafa emerged, his face streaked with tears.
Ada, please! I had no choice! They threatened my family!
I kept my gun aimed at him, but my hand was shaking. Meanwhile, Rafa collapsed to his knees right in front of me. You betrayed us! You betrayed Xavier!
I never wanted to! Please, understand!
My resolve wavered, and I started to lower the gun, just as Rafa lunged at me, knocking it out of my hand.
I told you to stay out of this! I warned you!
I scrambled to grab the gun again, but Rafa had already fled. Paul found me sitting dazed in the old warehouse. Knowing I'd let Rafa escape, he approached and urged,
We don't have much time. I received an urgent meeting message from the boss. An old villa overlooking the Mediterranean in Sicily.
We need to be there. This is our last chance to take him down. We drove through the night. When we reached Sicily, the sun was just rising. Outside the villa was eerily quiet. All I could hear was the distant crash of waves. The sky was always clear before the storm hit. The moment Paul opened the front door, I saw something flying straight at us. I only had time to push him to the floor.
Thank you. You're an excellent agent, Ada.
Thanks for the compliment.
You've arrived.
At the far end of the lavish room, Rafa stood beside the boss wearing a smug smile.
It's over, Paul. We know everything.
You hit well, little rat.
Immediately, the henchmen charged at us. Paul handled them while I had a bigger target, capturing the boss Lorenzo. But as I ran to the garden, Rafa blocked my way. We stood there, guns aimed at each other. Don't tell me! You did this to Xavier too! He was your friend!
I had no choice, Ada. He got too close. If not him, it would have been me.
As Rafa let his guard down, I tackled him to the ground. I could have avenged Xavier right then, making him suffer as Xavier did. My finger trembled on the trigger, and I fired. The bullet hit the ground right next to Rafa's head. He winced from the ringing in his ears.
Checkmate, little agent. Let him go and hand over the gun.
In a fight, if you're not strong, you become the prey. I had no choice but to comply. Rafa stood up, aiming his gun at me.
Finish her, just like you did with your brave friend.
I looked at Rafa, tears of frustration welling up. I couldn't believe I might die here today.
I'm sorry, Ada.
But he shot the boss in the leg, causing him to collapse. The adrenaline in my veins gave me the strength to kick the gun away. Paul arrived just in time, capturing the boss Lorenzo. The fight had exhausted us all, and the members of the organization were taken to the police station. As Rafa passed by me, he stopped, his voice choked with emotion.
I wish I could take it all back.
You can't. But you can start over. Rafa smiled at me before being led away. Paul approached, breaking the heavy atmosphere.
How about we take a break from work? There's a great place I know, right on the coast.
Peaceful like Villa Borghese?
Absolutely.
Paul grabbed my hand and we ran towards the sea, where the sunlight danced on the Mediterranean like golden ribbons.
Enough talk. Give me my share.
What's the rush, Lily? Got ants in your pants?
Damn it! You're testing my patience!
Here you go. Good choice. It's the most beautiful necklace I've ever seen.
It's just stolen goods. But you're right.
Cut the act, Lily. There's more to why you're here than just getting your share.
I'm leaving the gang.
What? Are you kidding? Why?
No, I'm over it. I want a normal life.
You still owe me one last job.
I walked out of that dingy warehouse. Jesus! Thought I was gonna suffocate in there. I'm Lily. Yeah, I know that girly name doesn't really fit me. But it is what it is. I've been with Jeffrey's gang for around 5 years, I think. Actually, Jeffrey saved my life once. Some thugs tried to off me. Duh, I was outnumbered, so it was pretty brutal. So yeah, I owe him. But everything changed when I met Troy, the kindest, warmest guy in the neighborhood. The only one who waves when I step out. I like Troy, and I can tell he feels the same. Troy has this routine of jogging in the park every morning. So naturally, I started too. Every day, I'd wait and accidentally bump into him.
What a coincidence. You jog here too, Lily?
Yep, totally.
I guess we're meant to be.
We clicked. Troy knows a lot, and I could listen to him all day.
Look.
I love it. Days later, we had a date at a convenience store. But as I grabbed a bag of chips, I heard a man shout.
Everybody freeze! Hands on your heads! Act smart or call the cops and you'll regret it.
There was panic. Some female customers started crying. I hid behind a shelf, trying to identify the robber. I mean, I should know every crook around here, unless he's some desperate newbie.
Hand over your cash and phones! You! Get moving!
That voice sounds too familiar. I bet I know him.
Hurry up or say goodbye to the world!
Don't hurt him! Our eyes met, and I instantly recognized Steve from my gang. He recognized me too.
What? You?
I gestured for him not to give away our connection, as I never wanted Troy to know who I really was. Luckily, Steve caught on.
Fine. Then you replace him.
I quickly grabbed the tray from Troy before he could react. After collecting everything, I handed it to Steve, but the jerk had one last demand.
Give me that bracelet of yours.
It's just grass.
Or your boyfriend.
This bastard. I'll teach him a lesson later. Once Steve left, Troy and I calmed everyone down.
Don't ever risk yourself like that again. These thugs need to pay.
Troy's words solidified my decisions to leave the gang. Just that Jeffrey's so vague about that last mission. I drove to an old rundown warehouse on the outskirts of the city. They were waiting for me there. I gotta stay chill, get the job done, and then hopefully peace out for good.
There you are. Date night run late?
I shot Steve a dirty look. Bet he'd spilled the beans about yesterday. He smirked back at me and then looked away, bitter as always. He never got over me snagging the title of Jeffrey's right hand. Hand it over. Steve pretended to be all clueless, the dope.
Just give it back.
Steve, clearly irritated, took a bracelet out of his pocket and slammed it on the table. I carefully put it back on, a keepsake from Troy. Jeffrey then dropped the big one. Our last gig. Stealing a diamond from the city museum. You're kidding, right? How is that even possible?
That's the price of freedom, Lil.
He didn't want me to leave the gang, and that's why he handed me the impossible task. The diamond was in a room rigged with lasers and pressure-sensitive alarms.
Even a feather can set it off. If you reconsider...
You're crossing the line! What, you want to keep me chained here forever?
Your choice. Wonder if your squeaky clean boy knows about your gang ties. Would be quite the shocker if he did.
Enough. I'll do it. You'll see, Jeffrey. Here's the plan. I'd approach the diamond from the ceiling, while the others would help me get inside and keep a lookout. Everyone was on board except Jeffrey. Over the next few days, I'd meet up with the gang to plan things out, but Jeffrey started acting real weird. First, he straight up kicked Steve out of the gang for bad-mouthing me. Then, out of nowhere, he sent me roses. Like, what was his deal? And one day, there he was, standing outside my house, all dressed up. And damn, looking kinda hot. What's going on?
The gang's got a new plan.
I didn't even wait for him to finish. I jumped in his car and off we went into the night. But to my surprise, the old warehouse was now a fancy mansion. All this in just a few days?
Did all this for you. Be my girl.
What? No way. Had he lost it? He knew I was into Troy and wanted to quit just for him. And he's confessing now? What the fudge? In a rage, I stormed out, clueless to the storm I'd ignited. Tonight was the big job, but this morning I had coffee plans with Troy. God, he was as sweet as candy. I met him at a cozy cafe and we took a stroll afterward.
Got this for you, since you lost your bracelet the other day.
Oh, the thief tossed it. Found it in some alley. Lucky me, right? Just then, I spotted Jeffrey's crew. Tried to dodge him, but after last night, I bet Jeffrey was mad. Christ, he spotted me, but he just walked past.
Tonight, at the City Museum. Good luck, Lil.
His words sent chills down my spine. I tried to brush it off, telling Troy that Jeffrey was probably just talking nonsense. God, with all this drama, I might just drop dead from the stress. That evening, I stuck to the plan, rappelling down and stealthily dodging those slender laser beams, which though thin as threads, were deadly enough to log me out instantly. I skillfully landed on the floor. Phew! The diamond lay perfectly on a satin cloth. Damn, you're a beauty, honey. Panic hit me. My heart plummeted to my stomach.
Solid job, Lil.
Man, that was tougher than I thought. Same split as usual? 70-30?
Always knew you were a sharp one. And here your boyfriend thinks you're all innocent.
Why is he here? I look at Troy, his eyes showing clear disappointment. I just hope he'd let me explain.
I love you, Lil! But you love him! I won't allow it!
Jeffrey lost it, screaming like a mad beast. As he reached behind him, I lunged to shield Troy, but he also pulled me in protection.
I wanted to give you this back!
It's from the day he helped me escape that wooden cabin in the forest. Sadly, I never felt anything for him.
You're not mine anymore, Lil.
After saying that, Jeffrey headed for the door, leaving me with an unsettling feeling, like something was left undone.
But if you're not mine, you can't be anyone else's either!
Before I could react, liquid poured in non-stop from the roof. Steve, when did he get back?
It's gasoline.
Damn it! I should have grabbed Jeffrey! Flames roared to life.
Hang on, Lily. I'll get us out of here.
The fire blocked our exit. There must be another way. The alarm! Hit the alarm!
No! The cops will come. You'll be implicated.
I'm a criminal. I need to pay for my actions. I passed out. The next thing I remembered were sirens and a feeling of weightlessness. Waking up, I was on a bed with crisp white sheets. A hospital?
Miss Lily Brown, you're under arrest for involvement with a burglary gang.
I later learned I was out cold for a week. That night, the police rounded up the entire gang. But during the arrest, Jeffrey didn't resist. He seemed resigned, as if he had nothing left to lose.
I don't know her. She and that guy were just hostages.
The moment I was set free, I couldn't believe that the guy who tried to kill me had once again saved me. A criminal's love sure is twisted. Sadly, I'm no Harley Quinn. Troy came to pick me up, thrilled that I could now live my life free of threats and criminal ties. My dark past burned down with the museum. All that remains is a new me and a new future.